All right, welcome to another episode of the Freezin NFC North Podcast, episode 41. Packers still own the Bears. Vikings and Lions win plus week 14 preview. We are welcoming in our first-time guest, Nick Whalen. How are you doing?
Great, man. I'm a Wisconsin native and always been a Bears fan. So, I was born in '85, so the year, but it's been a pretty rough life. But the guys here, we got the quarterback, so everything's gravy right now. Everything's.
We're gonna get into that, yes, and I know my guy Seventh Letter, our Lions guy, wants to weigh in on that. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How's everyone tonight?
We are here, and also I'm glad to have Shelby back, the team that's going to take the North this year. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Can't complain.
Can't complain. And unfortunately, I am in the Packer corner this week. But coincidentally, yeah, I mean, all the Packers have a win over the Bears, and then they are MIA this week. But we'll get to them hopefully next week. So lots to talk about. We'll just kind of get right out to the big game in the division. Nick, what were your thoughts from the Bears-Packers game? Unfortunately, yeah, I mean, the Packers fans, they still own the Bears, all that. What were your thoughts on that game this past Sunday?
Very surprising, actually, because I do DFS. I don't know if you guys are into the whole daily fantasy stuff, and I was very positive the week before because I rode the Mike White Garrett Wilson combo, and this week I was like, hey, I mean, not only did they have Jaquan Brisker and Kyler Gordon and obviously Eddie Jackson, who is injured and done for the year sadly, but Kendall Vildor was out too, so I was like, okay, and Jalen Johnson's been kind of limping around out there, so I'm like, okay. If there's ever a game for Rodgers, he always does well against the Bears, it'll be this game. And he looked bad, like against guys off the street. I mean, and no offense to most Bears fans, but I'm sure they couldn't name the secondary guys that they had, much less, we traded away Robert Quinn and Roquan Smith. So I was like, they're going to light them up. And they didn't. And we had talked about this pre-show, but I've been very pro tank and losing, and they've done that epically well, which I'm okay with, because this season it hasn't been about winning. We knew that when you're trading away, guys mid-year and just the salary cap that we had. So it's about, has Fields progressed and losing, and then they were winning, and I was like, it feels good because I hate Green Bay. I enjoy Green Bay losing more than the Bears winning. Honestly, that's how much I hate them.
Absolutely.
But so I liked it, but I'm like, man, this is going to hurt the draft pick because their strength of schedule. They actually, with their win, and if things worked out terribly, they could have dropped to pick 12 actually, and that that didn't happen because some other teams had won. So to me, I'm all pro get that high pick. So the Packers coming back in the end was something I was actually cheering for, which I kind of threw up saying that, but it's what I had. So it's kind of surprising the Packers played so bad, but I'm glad they won.
Yeah, I was on that too. Like I was kind of like on the Shelby, I've been talking about that. It's never been about the Bears win-loss. I want it to be a good game, and it was a good game. In the middle of it, though, I just started I was kind of getting a little bit of hope. Okay, they may win. They may beat the Packers living here in Wisconsin also. And, I may have a little bit over some of my buddies here in the area, but so it was a little frustrating when they lost just because of that. And then immediately on Twitter, all of the Packer fans came out, all the ones that have been going after you, also Shelby, all coming out. And,
where's that positivity and optimism that they speak so highly of?
Exactly. And there were some that, all over the Bears. Oh, we still own the Bears. And it's just like, it's funny. Like you see that meme of the podium where, someone is celebrating and they've got the champagne and they show us like third place, right? They're celebrating third place. That's pretty much where the Packers are right now, third place or maybe second in the division or whatever. But so what's that?
Third.
They're gonna be third. Yeah. And so when I looked at that game, obviously there were Fields again had the splash plays, which that's what I wanted to see as well. Fields also had some good throws. So when you look at Fields' performance, then Nick, how would you assess that? And you do some coaching as well, so.
Yeah, I mean, early on in the year is a lot of struggles, and people have really pointed to the design quarterback runs and how that gets you +1 in the box. I mean, Josh Allen does it. I mean, lots of Lamar Jackson, obviously. The thing that I've been most impressed is what he struggled with in college was pocket presence and guys getting in his face, at least initially, like that interior O-line getting pushed back. And he's excelled at that in terms of just being so comfortable in the pocket. And all four of us can agree. The one thing that Aaron Rodgers does fantastically is he just sidesteps people, and he just always has like the cool demeanor of buying time and then finding a guy open down the field. And now Fields does that. Plus, he's just such a plus athlete that he makes guys look silly. So his pocket presence, and you can see him progressing through reads too, but just those off schedule plays. The big one was him stepping up in the pocket, looked like he was going to scramble, and then he hit Kmet for about a 20-yard gain down the sideline. I mean, what have we heard? You know, the passing yards haven't been there. He passed for 254. Okay, so shut up, everybody. 20 of 25. And the one interception, actually, Eberflus and Fields both said it was on Equinemius St. Brown. He didn't come back to the football. And Jared Alexander could celebrate that because he was getting toasted. You know, the best corner in the game getting toasted by the likes of Equinemius St. Brown and N'Keal Harry, you know, first round pick a long time ago that busted. So, you know, he had one, you know, bounce back play, I guess. And then the one late, I mean, they're down 2 scores and he was a little late on it. But other than that, he looks like he's in control. He knows where his checkdowns are. And that's exactly what you want to see. And this is the worst O-line and weapons he'll have in his career. It's all going to get better. So he's progressing. That's all you want to see.
What do you see in seventh letter?
I don't see anything. No. He's getting better. He runs a lot. He's not the biggest guy. I'm just worried about how healthy he'll remain.
Exactly.
Running so much. You see what's happening to Lamar Jackson now. It's starting to hit him year 5 or 6. I forget whatever year he's in. You know, like it's all cute in the beginning, but when most of your success comes with your legs and you're not the size of Josh Allen or Ben Roethlisberger, you can't keep doing it. It's not something that's sustainable. So I don't see him doing this forever. Hopefully, like you said, this will be the worst offensive line that he'll have for you know, in his career. But I mean, other than that, like I don't feel like it's sustainable. I don't see the touch on the passes. I see a lot of overthrows. I see a lot of weak quarterbacks like tight ends a lot. I noticed that. So he throws it. This is the first week I seen him like really throw to wide receivers. I was surprised. and Harry made a hell of a catch. But
he put that right in the breadbasket.
That was probably Justin Fields' best pass I ever seen, in my opinion. I didn't see. I know in college, I was a little worried about him in college because he looked kind of fragile. Whenever he got hit, he was laying down for a while. So I'm worried. That's what I'm saying. It's just him playing that style of football at that size. I mean, the way he breaks tackles, I'm like, his lower body strength must be crazy because I mean, that's amazing for a guy that stature, you know, to do that. But I just don't think it's sustainable. I do see the growth, and I understand that he's not working with anything, you know, as far as receivers go. You know, the other St. Brown, it ain't his brother. You know what I mean? It ain't his brother. So I just I wish him the best, you know, just not against us. That's all. We gonna bust y'all ass when we see y'all a couple weeks.
I hope you win.
So I'm on that same wavelength. Shelby, what are you seeing from Fields?
I see growth. I mean, there's no denying that he's gradually getting better and finding his, you know, niche. But again, if that's running, I totally agree. I think that it is kind of a scary thing because he also doesn't have. I do have this like weird feeling that he could get injured very quickly. We did have that little bit of a scare a couple weeks ago. And then But also, I did say that the Bears are the one thing that I'm kind of worried about. If he does come into himself and learn how to sit in the pocket and make plays and connect with receivers, do I think that he could potentially be like somewhat of a threat? Yeah, I do, but I still don't feel threatened yet.
Yeah. How many
But it's
games
fun to
he
watch him
lost?
grow.
He lost a lot of games for y'all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
He did
that's
a lot of stuff to win. Then even against us, that crazy pass, that Okora picked off for the touchdown that got us back in the game. Y'all kicked
well,
ass that game.
you know, and Nick, I don't know where you stand on this thing, but when I look at quarterbacks, especially young quarterbacks, taking risks, and learning, and for me, they're going to make those interceptions. For me, it's what happens after that. What do they do after that? And I feel like after, in that Lions game, he did some great things after that interception, right? And so that's kind of what I want to see. And there's so many missing pieces. I mean, in the NFL, if you have your quarterback, that's the most important piece going forward. Then you can start to fill in the pieces. If you don't have a quarterback, there's a lot of question marks. And let's kind of get into your team there, seventh letter. So the Lions did dominate the Jaguars. They've got a ton of pieces, ton of weapons, but you still have a question mark going forward with Goff. But talk about this game and maybe what it means for the rest of the season.
I think that it's not that we beat the Jaguars. It's the way we beat the Jaguars. It's like we looked the part. Like we looked like what I thought we should have looked like. Now everyone is coming back. Everyone's getting healthy. And all those pieces that we were all going crazy about in the beginning of the year when we were losing those close games, those pieces that were hurt, and we still were scoring 30. That's the thing. We were scoring 30 without nobody. Now everybody's coming back. Jared Goff's looking better. I always said we have to. You gotta pet his head. You gotta tell him he's doing good. He's not the toughest guy in the world. I like Jared Goff as a man. He's just a really nice guy. But he doesn't really do the adversity thing well. And we'll see if we do make the playoffs or if we ever become a playoff team. I just want to see him there. He has won in the past in the playoff. He won more games in the playoffs than Matthew Stafford. We're just used to having that. That's the thing. We're used to the ball whizzing, like all the amazing comebacks and everything. And Matthew Stafford is a gamer, and Jared Goff not so much. But when the offensive line is blocking, when the receivers are getting open, he'll cut you up. And just like he did, they sat in zone against with all the receivers back. J-Mo's going to be more in the offense this week. We're gonna oppose a problem for the Vikings. The Vikings kind of can't stop nobody, as we saw. So, and we almost beat them the first time, but Tracy Walker got hurt. Once Tracy Walker got hurt, we had Kirby. That was his first game. He wasn't ready yet. And they found Osgood over the top, touchdown. They came back and beat us. But Kirby's playing good now. My receivers are back. It's gonna be a problem.
All right, we'll get into the game, the preview of the game. Obviously, you're in rare form. I love it. We'll get into that game soon. Wanted to touch base then on the Vikings. Obviously now the Vikings are the AFC East champs, I believe, beating the Jets 27-22. Talk about that game and what that means, for the Vikings kind of going forward.
I hated this game, to be completely honest with you.
Really?
I was not happy with it. And I think, we've had a lot of close games this season, but this was the one that it just annoyed the fuck out of me. Because going into the half, it's like, okay, this is like, first off, I told you I was watching it with the Jets fan. In the whole first half, he's like, we're going to come back in the third. I heard you guys suck in the third. And I'm just sitting there like, oh my gosh, like so much. And you know me, I'm just sitting there like, and then the third quarter comes around and it's like, do we just forget how to play ball? Like, it's so frustrating. At first, it was like, okay, whatever, every week I've been like, we just need to figure out the third. But now it's like the fact that fans, teams, everyone knows that you can come in the third and potentially like come back. That's annoying to me. And I just, again, last week I said my biggest fear was Justin Jefferson not being able to perform against good secondaries. 45 yards? You're supposed to be the best wide receiver in the league. It's just so frustrating because like we have all the tools. We should have not like they only scored one touchdown. They were only able to get field goals, but they shouldn't even been able to get field goals to begin with. And then all of a sudden fourth quarter comes around and it's like, oh yeah, our defense is actually good. Oh yeah, we can make plays. Like, and you know, it's just very annoying because our defense is like we can lock people down when we are on the line, but then we'll let them score throughout like the whole game. It's just very bizarre to me. I knew obviously last week that it was going to be a tough game, but
Is that, I mean, is this kind of why, nationally the Vikings aren't getting a lot of love? Because like I don't see anybody saying, Vikings Super Bowl, like they're even in the top 5, NFL wise. I mean, they're always forgotten. Is it because like they're almost winning ugly, or I mean, because Buffalo has been picked ahead of them, although they did beat Buffalo in Buffalo, right? I mean, so like I don't know, I'm a Bears fan and I've been trumpeting the Vikings like all, since off season, and it feels really dirty to me. The only thing dirtier would be like what you were doing, cheering for the Packers on Sunday. But I mean, Shelby, is that kind of why, they're not getting the love?
first off, why is Viking Dave not here? Where are you, Dave? Not with me.
He's a little tired tonight, I think.
Got it.
He's afraid of who's on the show.
Of course.
Might be.
No, I do think that, lately I've been watching so much interviews and like ESPN and NFL Network and all this stuff, and like really sitting down and listening to what people have to say about the Vikings. And it's interesting because usually everyone's like, oh, the Vikings suck, blah, 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 blah. This year, no one's even really hating on us, I think. But yeah, exactly what he's saying. Like you look at the Eagles game and the Cowboys game. Those are the two people that everyone favors for the Super Bowl, right? For the NFC. Okay, that's the biggest reason I think why still no one is really talking about us, because we haven't beat the people that matter. Whether we're 10-2, even beating the Bills, that was great, but the Bills is AFC. So regardless, you have to think about who we're going to go against to actually get to the Super Bowl itself. The whole JJ thing, that stresses me out. The couple games he hasn't gotten good yards. It's close. I'm glad that we won the game. But again, it was a game that I just need to see more consistency in our play. And I need us to actually be able to shut out a team. Do I think that people are still going to come and be like, oh yeah, the Vikings are going to be a Super Bowl team? I highly doubt it. Because the Eagles, I mean, I've never been cried so hard against that Eagles game, NFC Championship. So I think people already think about them over us. And then people love to dick ride the Cowboys. And they've been playing crazy. So I was uncomfortable watching that game on Sunday night. That was giving me anxiety watching them just run over the Colts. Like, it was crazy. So I think that's like, the bigger thing.
I like, I'm actually a Dak fan. I like Dak. But anybody that, or any team that has Mike McCarthy as a coach, just like, I cannot trust them.
I think they're more of a defense. Like, it was just turnover after turnover after turnover. Like, I don't know. I had to turn it off because I was like, this is embarrassing.
The
Made me feel better about our loss, though.
The Vikings, the way the Vikings lost to the Eagles and the Cowboys is why nobody really respects them.
Exactly.
And they got smashed both of those games.
Mm-hmm.
And
embarrassed.
Play like it has a lot to do with your offensive line too. Ever Kirk Cousins gets a lot of pressure on him, he starts to bug out. And even the Jets, I was like, yo, they are punishing Cousins. Cousins just stands in there. I don't know how much of that he can keep on taking, to be honest. Yeah. And it's just when you play those big games, they call it Kirk Cousins after 1 o'clock. He play anytime after 1. He gets a little on the national stage. He doesn't perform well, and I don't know what that's that's when they usually play against good teams. And when you play against the Cowboys and you look like that, I mean, it was bad. It was bad. When you play against the Eagles like that, it was bad. Yeah. So that's why people look at them. And then they win a lot of close games, and that's what's up. Like those games that we lose, y'all win. Mm-hmm. That's why you're 8-2. And God helped you guys against the Bills. Jesus came down, slapped the ball out of Josh's hand, popped it right out his hand on the goal line, and Justin Jefferson did something amazing, and you guys won that one. That was luck.
Peterson.
That won't happen again.
Nick, I wanted to have a question. This Kirk Cousins gets this bad rap about I don't know, not being able to perform in prime time. What are you seeing from like a coach's perspective, and is that real or what is that?
Well, I had one quick fun tweet that I had retweeted. It said, and I don't know how accurate this is, it's someone's tweet, but they had this chart that says, what if every one possession NFL game had the opposite result of what happened? And it has the Lions being 8-4 if all of the one possession games switched, and it would have
like 2-10 or like complete, because it's 9 games, so it'd be like 1-12 or 1-11.
Well, if those switched and their other games stayed the same, the records, and then it had the Vikings as 1-11, which I don't know. That doesn't seem accurate, but there are a lot of one-score games here, and as you said, I mean that speaks to resiliency. That speaks to poise under pressure. I mean I mean, as much as some people hate him, I love him. Tom Brady, and that last game, threw the touchdown, holding, brought back, still had it in him to score and win. So there's a couple of things with Kirk Cousins. I think the NFL as a whole right now, the mobile quarterback, at least being able to move a little bit is where teams are going, because these athletic pass rushers are just so much for offensive lines. The Vikings down Christian Darrisaw is really tough. I mean, he's one of the best left tackles in the game, which thankfully they have a really good offensive lineman now. But that hurt him this last week. I mean, the Jets are a great defense, very underrated, good overall team. They just got to get that quarterback. I think Kirk's he's just been up and down. I mean, he's had 5 touchdown passes in the last 4 games combined. He's in a little bit of a slump. That Cowboys game that he had mentioned was bad. Then he comes back and he lights up, the Patriots on Thursday, right? It's like, oh, of course not, and then, so I think he's a solid overall guy. I don't think he's ever going to be great. I think he gets just trashed because people like narratives and they just can't get out of narratives. But you look at what does he have to work with? I know Thielen's not who he was. He's got Jefferson. Hawkinson has averaged, I think, 8 targets per game since he's been traded. So they've needed that guy to take some pressure off of Jefferson, So I think, and I mean, Patrick Peterson's had like a little resurgence that no one really expected to, which has been nice. So I think they're a solid overall team. They're not great. The NFL has a lot of parity this year. You're seeing it all over the board. I mean, the Colts beat the Chiefs. Like, I mean, like what is going on? But the Vikings have just been able to win those games that other teams have been losing, and that's why they're 10-2. I think a lot of teams are bad in the NFL, and the Vikings just aren't bad, and that's why they're winning. And all you need is a ticket to the dance and in the playoffs to maybe squeak through there. So it's nice to see them have some success. I mean, I think we all don't want the Packers to have some because they've been greedy and they've been arrogant about it all. But I like Kirk Cousins. You know, I like a lot of the guys that they have. I actually like a lot of Lions players too. I mean, you mentioned about Jameson Williams, my top receiver. I think he has lots of ability, and so it's pretty cool to see these teams having some success when we've kind of been the shadow in the division.
Yeah, I feel like the narrative, you talk about narrative, and that can just flip really quickly. I feel like, but then if it flips in the positive way, it'll stick with you. Like we talk about like Aaron Rodgers, it's been, and we've talked about this over and over again, it's been since 2010, right? Since he, was in the Super Bowl and he beat Caleb Haney, right? He didn't beat,
You mean Rex Grossman has been to the same amount of Super Bowls as Aaron Rodgers?
Exactly.
Favorite
Exactly.
tweet to troll Packer fans.
It is, but then obviously, but that's the thing. Like, so he's got this narrative that and yes, he can do it in the regular season, and yes, he can beat the Bears, but that doesn't get you much. And I feel like Kirk Cousins is one postseason away from flipping it, right? And I see him. It's interesting, kind of as an outsider, kind of looking in, just how, and you've talked about this, Shelby, as well, just how his teammates like him. They seem to be fighting for him, and so it's almost like that's almost where you want to be for a team. You want to be a team that that's maybe being overlooked, because you go into the playoffs, you just need that ticket to the dance, and then you can see what happens. Obviously the 49ers have done that, and they've come up big. It just takes that one, maybe even one possession to flip a game, because I was thinking the Packers were gonna beat the 49ers, and then that block punt, right? So anything like that can happen, and when you're able to win these close games, that does, I feel like that does a lot for a team psyche. I mean, do you kind of see that as a coach, Nick?
Oh, that's confidence, and that builds. And I think the other thing that we haven't mentioned, and I'm sure you guys have in past weeks, is that this is a team that has been middle of the road ish, for a while, and now they have a new coach, and all of a sudden they're winning these close games. So is Kevin O'Connell, is he making right calls, or is he believing in guys? And if you've seen some of the audio stuff from Mike McDaniel, which I'm not sure if you guys have or not, like, as a coach, that's stuff that I like, because my real job is as a counselor, and I coach as well, and that positive feedback and believing in people, that carries you to different levels. So maybe a new coaching staff has been able to get more out of these players, and that's why there's winning these games, when in the past maybe they have crumbled, and now they're not doing that, and the Jets are driving down, but they're still holding on, because I mean, whether it's close or not, the win-loss columns, they don't say, well, that was a close one, I don't know if we're going to count that one. It says a win or loss, and they're winning.
See, this is what I'm talking about with positive and optimistic mindset. Okay, exactly. Because come on, you made the comment about there has been 9 close games, and we're tied for the most since 1942. Like, yeah, it's happened, but this isn't a normal thing. And I think that that's another thing that people don't really talk about. It's like, you do look at the Lions as a great example this year. The Vikings is a great example last year. You had so many chances. We had so many chances last year, and you're like not winning those games. So again, I think that this is such a good year. I've been so blessed as a Vikings fan, because I think all of us Packers fans aren't in here. All we want is just a good season. Like, it's so nice to be able to go out and be decked out in Vikings gear and no one's like talking shit to me. But yeah, I think that
she's adorable. Listen. Listen. Yo. If Barrios doesn't drop that ball, the Jets win. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I don't know what round the quarterback was picked in. I don't know. He's just better than the other guy.
But how how many games could you switch 1 or 2 plays and change the outcome of every game? I mean, we can't
Absolutely.
do that, you know? So, I mean, if this pass interference was called, wasn't called, how many games would we change? So, I mean, it is what it is, you know, and maybe Barrios hasn't had the coaching that they have, or maybe O'Connell's making better calls under pressure. Some coaches are bad, right? With time management. We just talked about, we saw some of these coaches, you know, so they're getting it done in the end.
The offensive guy, you know what I'm saying? He got the weapons.
Mhm.
Jesus Christ, he has the weapons. And like I said the last show, he got people that's better than everybody else. Justin Jefferson is better than everybody else. If the game is close, he's gonna make a play. Dalvin Cook is better than everybody else. He's gonna make a play. It just is what you can't keep these type of games with these type of players. Close games, they're gonna win. They are. That's just the way talent, God giving people more talent than other people.
Yeah, and also you can't really, well, you can obviously, but the like one play that we're making, it'd be different if it was like, oh, just this week. But we've won 3 games by an interception in the end zone in the end of the game, and we had that strip ball by Dantzler. Like, our defense is the one that's making these like crazy plays, and it's clearly happening consistently. Patrick Peterson has been incredible. Smith is still making all of those interceptions. It's just about doing it the whole fucking game.
What did you think of his lateral during his interception? What was he doing?
I don't know, but I love him.
I was nervous because I was like, is this a strategy? And then literally afterwards, I thought he was kind of like goofing around during the play, which I wouldn't have expected from a veteran, you know?
Yeah, I think that watching him like off the field and stuff, I think that he's such like just a goofy guy, and it's working for him. So that's all that matters. But like, yeah, sometimes I see him and I'm like, okay, calm down.
Well,
But who am I to judge? Let's be real.
Before we get into the Vikings Lions preview, we got Rev Trev weighing in here. So you want to be treated like Packers as winners. Thanks, Trev. Not this year, though.
Bud.
Not this year. Not this year. And you know, it's so interesting getting on the Packers, especially after that win, like, you know, celebrating like they'd won something. I'm like, okay, you beat a team that didn't expect to win. Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
The Packers are 5-10 their last 15 games, so there's your winning.
There you go. There you go.
That's taking back to last year. We're going back. It's been a while since you've been winners.
You love to see it. You love to see it. All right. Let's go ahead and get into the preview. So really, obviously, the Bears and the Packers are off this week. So we have an interesting game. And I'm going to go ahead and start with you on this. Here we go. With the Lions and Vikings. Go ahead.
Oh man, I cannot wait till Sunday.
All right, yeah, tell us a little bit.
I just can't wait, man. I just can't wait.
As Lions, you've had this optimism before. Like, you know, even when I was going into the season, I thought, you know, hey, the Lions are a team that they could really surprise. But, you know, I've talked to a lot of Lions fans too, and it's just like, you know, same old Lions. You know, there's a lot of games this year that they probably should have won. So what about this game makes you think they might not regress back into the same old Lions?
I think that we felt like we gave one away early this season. Even Dan Campbell said he'll remember that. You know, that choice to kick the field goal, you know, he'll never forget that for the rest of his life. So we really have a bad taste in our mouth from the last game. We played the Bills tough with a bunch of rookies. Now the rookies are learning. Then the other guys are coming back. We have our offense will be at full strength. We found James Houston out of Jackson State, who is going out there killing shit. So we're gonna be able to rush the passer this time. We got Jerry Jacobs back, so Adam Thielen won't kill us this game. You know, so we'll be all right. I'm not gonna go into the season with the same old Lions attitude. I'm just not.
Seventh
I'm
letter.
gonna learn how to win and not be
You-
afraid anymore.
You know who you sound like? You sound like the Packers talking about how good their defense was going to be at the beginning of the season. They're like, "Oh, we are going to be so good this year. Our defense is going to win it." And sorry, I mean that's kind of what I'm hearing though. Obviously, you're excited. They talked about, "Oh, we found Rasul Douglas. We found this." But I don't know. I mean, I'm just not seeing it. I'm starting all my fantasy players against the Lions. I'm starting Thielen this week. I'm starting the guy who's selling hot dogs in the stands.
Oh, shit. All right.
So,
all right, you go ahead and do that then. I'm not saying that the Vikings aren't going to score. They're a great offense, but I think this game will be different. I just feel it. Look at Vegas. Even Vegas is saying they know what time it is. They know what it is.
They want money. They don't care about anything else.
Man, listen. A lot of thought, everything goes into that. They know something. They saw us the last few weeks. They
also said the Jets were gonna win last week.
The Jets supposed to win last week. They bury us from the ball.
They didn't.
Shelby, guess who's the number one scoring offense in the third quarter?
But are y'all winning?
The Detroit Lions.
But are y'all winning the games?
Because we had a whole bunch of rookies on the field. Now they know how to win. They learn how to win.
Well, we gonna see.
They learn how to win. I cannot fucking wait until Sunday. I cannot wait. I can't wait.
So who's gonna be on JJ then?
Huh?
Who's gonna be on Justin?
Put a coat on him again. What happened the first game? He didn't do shit. He didn't do nothing. He did nothing. He had like 3 catches for like 20 some yards, right?
What about Cook? Who's stopping Cook?
Man, Cook always get hurt and fumble against us. Every time he plays, he always get hurt and fumble. Listen, it's on. It's on. It's Pat. Yo, Josh Pascal's back. Houston playing his ass off. Hutchinson, he probably won't get rookie of the year. They probably give it to Sauce or somebody else. But he plays the run well. We'll be all right. Y'all offensive line sucks. You know how much offense the defense, the Vikings defense have given up 4,784 yards this season. Detroit Lions 35-24. Let's go.
Okay. And your pod mate is saying I'm guessing he's saying Lions are going to win 40-17.
They're going to win. They know it. Yo, listen, we let one go. We had them by 10.
Hey, the Bears almost had the Vikings too, but I don't know about that. So
see, but I can turn it around and say the same shit.
That's why they know Justin Fields is gonna mess up. He's gonna try to force something and throw it to the other team like he does every single freaking week.
That was on my guy Amir Smith Marset. Actually, I think it was Vikings guy who fumbled at that game versus the Vikings. But Shelby, what are your thoughts? Obviously, we got seventh letter here all fired up. What are your thoughts?
I think it's the opposite. I think that we almost lost that game. It's one of the only games that they were beating us the whole game and somehow we came back. It would be different if in the first game it was like the Jets game where we were winning by halftime. They came back in the third quarter and we almost lost the game. That was not the game with the Lions. The game with the Lions was they were winning. They definitely should have won that game, but the Vikings are the ones that pulled it out. The difference now is we actually know how to play against you guys. Our defensive scheme was fucking trash that game. We were playing zone coverage. We were not even close to your receivers. The reason y'all were running all over us is because literally they were like 15 yards back from these receivers, 1. 2, you guys were going for it a lot on 4th because, again, in the beginning of the season, our defense was fucking trash. We are not the same defense anymore. We are a lot more aggressive. We are a lot more confident. We have all of that stuff. And now I think we also know Jefferson's going to have something to play for. Because again, you're sitting here being like, oh, we have a chip on our shoulder, so now we know. And that's exactly how Jefferson feels, especially coming off last week. 45 yards, he's going to come in and whip these motherfuckers. I think it's going to be a good game. I don't think 40-17, I wouldn't even say that for the Vikings winning. I do think it's going to be a good game, but I think that the fact that we won the first game, the fact that we're coming off of that last win, and we always do better when we come off with a little aggressive, a little something to prove, and it's for the division, get out of here. We're going to be fired up.
My question here is, and Nick, why do we trust Goff to do well and not Cousins?
Yeah, so now it's going to be interesting because I watched Hard Knocks too, and I was pumped about the lines. And again, like I said, even the guys, like I talked about Jameson Williams, but I like Josh Pascal a lot. I'm like, man, they got him and Hutch. I mean, they got some good building block pieces, but they start out 1-6. And so you're like, well, what's going to happen? But then they've been 4-1 the last 5 games. So, we talked a little bit about that positivity and believing in yourselves, and that stuff is going well. And if we look at quarterback rating, which I like, because it includes a lot of stuff. It's not just one thing, Jared Goff is 11th in the NFL, 95.7. And Kirk Cousins is 21st under 88.1. So he's been again, like I said, Kirk Cousins has been he's all hyped. Kirk Cousins is in a little bit of a lull. So I think it's going to be a really good game. If we're just being honest, I think overall it's going to be a good game. It's tough for me to say a bunch of young guys are going to come together and beat a Vikings team, which I think is overall better. But you're right. I mean, which we talked about this earlier. Which narrative do you believe in? Like Geno Smith. We look at Geno Smith in a different light right now. We look at a guy that's okay. Hey, this guy can be a star in the NFL. He's proven it for a while. Jared Goff is he resurrecting his career a little bit now? I mean, you think of the dynamic of Hawkinson, what he adds to the Vikings offense. That could be what Jameson Williams does to Amon-Ra St. Brown, right? Now all of a sudden you don't have that bracket coverage because they have to respect the speed. It's going to be interesting overall. I still would favor the Vikings winning this game, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think.
Yeah, I agree.
Listen, real quick. We scored 30. Jared Goff is not the problem. Jared Goff has scored 30. We led the NFL in scoring the first couple weeks. We couldn't stop nobody. Everybody was hurt. Not everybody's coming back. We lost that game because we had a guy, Juju. I don't know who matter of fact, I think next week his neck broke or something. Juju was playing safety, and y'all came back. They kept throwing it to the same side. That busted coverage, when Osgood was wide open at the end, Juju was in the game. Because Tracy Walker popped his Achilles. That's what happened. It will not be the same this week. Matter of fact, it's going to be by 10. We had y'all by 10, 12, 13 or something like that. You will not come back this week if we get a lead. I promise you. That's it. Jameson Williams is going to put Patrick Peterson old ass on J-Mo. Please, Jesus, please.
Is he fully healthy? Is J-Mo fully healthy?
He healthy enough. He going to run by him.
Yeah. He was limited snaps last week, but I mean, people are very hyped about Christian Watson and what he's doing. And you have to respect him. I mean, Christian Watson is a high-end athlete. And I'm not one of those people that says, 80 people are elite. Christian Watson's an elite athlete, but also Jameson Williams has got that juice and it shows on the field too. And he's got the route running, but how healthy is he is the biggest question. How much do you want to work him in right away? Cause he only got 10, 15 snaps last week, I think. So
we only put him in a game so he can feel. What I really think happened, the reason why they started him, they played him and activated him, is because it was against the Jaguars and they wanted to sell tickets. I swear. It had to be that. I think for the first time in our lives, we have somebody, since Calvin left, we have somebody that we can sell tickets with, and they just played. They activated him and they played him 6 snaps or something like that. That's it. And I think they ran him one go route, and I think he got pushed out of bounds because he's 112 pounds. But if they start motioning him and moving him around, ain't nobody can stay with him. I'm telling you, nobody can stay with him. Nobody. We ain't got to worry about it. Ain't gonna be Khalif Raymond out there this week for you, sweetie. It's a whole different monster gonna be out there.
Is Shark healthy?
Fucking wait till Sunday.
Is Shark healthy?
Shark is healthy and he's confident confident. Played his ass off last week against his old team. That could be something else. That could have a lot to do with it. I know these guys. I could bust his ass, throw it deep, and he played his ass off. And if he's a little bit confident, that's all you got to do. When once certain players get confident, I always used to say this. I used to live in the projects. I said, don't let the punks start feeling tough. When the punks start feeling tough, then you're in trouble.
Isn't that you right now?
Huh? No. You see? I'm gonna be in your Twitter. I'm gonna be in your Twitter. I'm gonna be in your Twitter. I'm gonna be in Dave's Twitter on Sunday. I'm gonna be in your Twitter.
I can't.
I'm gonna be in your Twitter, sweetie. I'm gonna be in your Twitter. Win, lose, or draw, I'm gonna be in your Twitter.
So
and if we lose, I'm gonna have a reason why we lost.
Are you drinking any Honolulu Blue Kool-Aid there?
No, because I'm moving in a new house, and I'm in my new house right now, trying to bring in boxes. But I stopped because I thought Dave was gonna be here, but he brought his friend with him. So his friend, so the other Viking is here. So I'm gonna punish her. That's it.
And I love it. I eat this shit.
Wait, I can't fucking wait.
Well, obviously as a Bears fan, I would love to be in the conversation, and this isn't the year. But if you get into the playoffs, I mean. Obviously, it's weird to say the P word in the Lions, but if you get in the playoffs,
8% odds right now.
8% odds.
Hey, bro,
it's 4 for Green Bay.
Yo.
4 for
Bring on
Green
Rev
Bay.
Trevs here. So
I can't handle this anymore. I can't handle this anymore. I'm watching. Dude, Lions fans are hilarious. You think you won the Super Bowl.
That's all right.
Come on, man.
We got some more Packers here.
This
We got
is
Bernard
terrible.
here. Come in, check it in.
It's like you guys have the Vikings record. You don't.
We bust y'all ass this year.
You guys are so bad.
We whooped your ass this year.
Oh my gosh.
Whoop your ass again in the last game.
That's it. I'm done, bro. Like, I don't even know you, and it's like you won the Super Bowl. You haven't won nothing.
No, it's not that.
They do have a better trajectory right now than the Packers, I would say.
I agree. I'm not saying they're not good. I'm saying offensively they're good. What you said, Andy, is perfect. They can't stop anybody. So you're not going to win games. We can't stop anyone either.
Okay,
right? Am I saying something not true right now? Am I saying anything not true right now?
They've won 4 of the last 5 games.
They have.
And congratulations. Wow. That's wonderful.
Listen,
Vikings
man,
are good.
They ain't,
this idea that the Vikings are not going to win this game.
The minute they stop cheating for Aaron Rodgers, y'all start losing.
Ooh,
That's
Bernard, what are your thoughts on that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, hey guys, I'm kind of new here. I'm a big fan of your podcast. I watch.
Appreciate that.
Every single Wednesday night. I got a question for Mrs. Lady Viking fan up there. Why you hating on my boy Aaron Rodgers? Like, what's up? Why guy hate on my boy Rodgers, man?
He's gonna go off.
You jealous because he's been owning your ass since he got to the Packers? What's up? Come on,
Owning our ass.
My boy, man.
Oh, he's been owning the Bears.
Kirk Cousins has won against him more than he's won against us.
Wait, don't matter. Look, wait. QB wins and that is stat.
Dominating against us, but
Y'all
he
they
actually
whooped y'all
is
ass
not.
the first game too. That's their best game.
QB wins are not a stat. All right, they're not a stat. All right,
Aren't they a team stat though? Right?
It's Kirk Cousins against the Packers defense, and it's all offense against your defense. You can't say, well, you beat him head to head. That don't work like that. That's football.
Okay, so what do you define as he's beat all of our asses when he's not winning? So just because he has
Oh,
stats. Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Let's go. We have the gloves off now.
I saw everybody else join. I had to come back.
Come on, Dave.
We're in here. We got a full house now.
It's like the Brady bunch, man. We got like
It really is. It really is here. So
I saw 7th letter was talking a lot of shit, so I had to jump back on.
Tell you what. I mean, the Packers have had their time. This is not the Packers' year, right?
Oh.
And
Okay.
and it's obviously not the Bears' year as well. And we're kind of on that. So I wanted to talk real quick. Now we've got everybody on here. Nick, talk about obviously Justin Fields and what you've seen of him, and I want to kind of go around and because I know Dave's not a believer. Trev I think is a believer, but
Every episode, it's, hey, what do you guys think of Justin?
because it's my favorite conversation really right now because it's my favorite conversation. And now that I have a fellow Bear fan, I want to and someone who's actually a coach, because when you look at these quarterbacks, it's so, I'm on board with Cousins. Rodgers is Rodgers, but there's a lot to be desired with this year and his career. Goff, sorry, 7th letter, I'm not there yet. Maybe he doesn't need to be, but Fields has kind of that capability, kind of be the guy.
I think the debate could be, okay, and people are going to get up in arms, could be he's the best quarterback in the division, and that's not even in the future. That's right now.
Wow.
Love
That's a doozy of a take.
I mean, you have to, because you factor in the teammates around him and everything. We don't have Justin Jefferson, we don't have St. Brown, we don't have the O-line, but you factor in the rushing and the passing and how efficient he's been. And
the rushing, he doesn't pass.
Yeah, exactly. The rushing.
We just talked through that 20 of 25, 254.
That was one game.
One game. All of his efficiencies have gotten increasingly better.
1%.
All of them.
Okay, listen. Fields is playing better. I'll give him a lot of credit. He's playing a lot better than I thought he was going to be trashed and be out of the league in 2 years. That's not going to happen. But just like Lamar Jackson, he's amazing. He makes all these plays. He's on SportsCenter. But guess what? He can't win in the playoffs because he can't throw. When you play good defenses, he can't throw. Now, can Fields be better than that? I don't know. Maybe in the future he can. But right now, I don't know if he can do that. And we'll see what happens. That's why until you become a better passer, I'm not going to put him up there with a guy like Cousins, but I would say he's the second best quarterback right now because he's a lot more scary than anybody else. But I get what you're saying.
Second best? Second best to who?
Come on, he's better than Goff. Stop.
No, he ain't.
Just stop.
No, he ain't.
See?
Just stop.
Look at the
I'm
stats.
looking at because
Okay. You runs.
I'll give you Fields. I'll give you Fields last week because he has 80% completions. But other than that, he's never went over 75%, 74% completions, and he's only gotten a passer rating over 100 3 times. One of which against the Vikings, which I have said since that game was his best game.
Everyone does
But
that against the Vikings.
I'm looking at this. His yards are trash. He hasn't even broke 200 other than last week and against the Vikings. He only has 13 touchdowns with 10 interceptions.
Okay, y'all got to understand that he's never going to be Patrick Mahomes. Like, he's not going to throw 50 touchdowns.
I think
he's a great athlete. He's an amazing athlete.
Quarterback in the
he is for the best athlete at quarterback position.
So I wanted to take this conversation and then shift it then a little bit to the Packers then, because, 7th letter, you said, one game or whatever. All these Packer fans that are like, okay, Jordan Love after a quarter. Oh my goodness. We got to keep him now. He is amazing. So, Trev, I know you're a little bit more even keel on this. Bernard, I want to ask you first about Jordan Love. You still there, Bernard?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm good. I gotta be honest, I'm still not sold on him yet. I that Philly game hasn't really moved me in a way. I still need to see more. Hopefully we can see him before the season is done. I still want to see him get some more reps. I would say he has improved for the last time we saw him against the Kansas City Chiefs. And then, but I would say that, but I still need to see a little more before I can say this guy is the next, it's the guy that can take over, the Packers.
Yeah, Trev, what are your thoughts? Because I was all up on Bruce and the usual suspects of the Packers, big guys, and they were throwing out the statistics of how much better Jordan Love was than Fields and all of that. I mean, it's just Jordan Love, he had good quarter or whatever. But what are your thoughts then on all of that, Trev?
Yeah, I'm actually making a video on this week. So I think for the first time, we saw him play excellent. 9 passes, though. Like, this is what we're talking. This is what you guys are all upset about, and I get it. And you need to push back on Packers fans when we act like this. I don't act like that. But when we act like this, you need to push back. We're talking 9 passes. Now, granted, it was in a big game against a great defense. So I'm going to give a little credit. But that slant across to Watson did the work. His speed was unbelievable. So I like my friend here, I want to see more. It's the first time in my life I was like, oh, whoa, what's going on here? So I'm excited about the potential. I also know that he has accuracy issues. So I just want to just be real here. And I'm not saying he's going to be the next Hall of Fame quarterback. But if he is, you guys are going to be so angry. This is going to be the best thing ever. But maybe he's not. And I don't know. Nobody knows. So I'm calm. I'm relaxed until I make that video. You're going to like it.
I can't wait.
Oh, gosh.
Jordan Love season. Oh, my God.
You can't wait until what?
I can't wait. I can't.
We had back to back quarterbacks, back to back. I mean,
No, back to back.
I mean,
It's not happening.
Magic Majorski or some shit before that. I forget his name.
Well,
Don
no,
Mikowski.
he's saying that Jordan Love is, and here's the thing. It's so much, and I talked about this before: the fan cap and the football cap. It's easy as a fan captain to kind of give your quarterback the benefit of the doubt. And I think, a lot of Bears fans, we were kind of that way going into the season. We saw some good things from Fields in some games last year, but he had to prove it, right? And but he has shown a lot of stuff. And Nick, you had messaged me some stuff here. So QB rating from go ahead and talk about this a little bit, Nick.
Well, yeah, this is just the improvement that you see. I mean, Fields was very inconsistent early on, taking sacks, not being efficient, and he had an 84 or better QB rating on only 2 weeks in the first 6 games. The last 6 games or 6 weeks, 5 of 6 have been there. And I believe, I don't have it up right now, I think the only one that's below that was last week when he had 2 interceptions late, which one wasn't even his fault. He was 20 of 25. I don't even care. He had a great game. The Jordan Love thing's interesting. Yeah, you're right. The slant route was all Christian Watson. It also, and again, this is the coach in me. And I've coached for 14 years. I've been all over college and high school. So I studied the things that a lot of people don't look at. That was a really bad angle by the safety. He totally took a bad angle, and it was off coverage, and he was guarding more outside. So it was a really easy inside release for Watson. And like we said, he's an elite athlete, and he did what he was supposed to do. And they were also down by 2 scores, and a lot of those throws were off prevent coverage, which Vikings fans, you guys know when you're doing that all day to the Eagles early in the year. I don't know why you weren't playing press. You're just playing in zone, sitting back. So
Don't ask me.
So stuff was there for Love. And I mean, good for him. He was hitting the guy. It was a lot of stuff over the middle. I don't know that he can throw a touch pass. Everything is on a line. And that was his issue I saw in college, his issue early on in the NFL. He's got some stuff to deal with. And then also we talked earlier about this evolution of we need to have these quarterbacks that can move and be athletic. And Jordan Love isn't one of those guys. And, and so I don't know what role he's going to fit into. I mean, if you guys stay in this outside zone boot type of offense, You can, but that's not what's being successful in the NFL right now. What's coming back is because what defenses have done. This is actually really cool. I don't know if you guys have looked into this. The power run schemes are being successful because they've gotten really light defenses. They're in those nickel dime packages, those safety hybrid linebackers. And so NFL offenses can't go to the outside because the defense has matched them with speed. So now the offenses that go downhill are being successful. Look at the Rams sucking. Look at all these teams that do that outside zone haven't been as successful, right? Even the Falcons, et cetera. And so that's part of what is happening in Green Bay right now. And the teams that are shifting more to this power scheme are being successful. So are you going to stay in that, right? And let Jordan Love, well, I don't even know if he's going to be able to be the starter because I think Aaron's coming back next year. And then are you going to pick up the 5th-year option? It's a big mystery, but he's got a lot to improve still. I think people just see what they want to see as a fan, like you were saying.
I was going to say, as a Bears fan, I'm more afraid of Watson. I mean, Watson is, and you could even make a case right now that Watson could be one of the best Packers wide receivers ever, right? I mean, like it took Devontae, 3 years to develop? Watson is already kind of becoming, that receiver and able to, obviously you talk about some of those things, but yeah, I mean, Watson was able to make that play. And then the other one against the Bears as well, the run or whatever, that was the pitch. I mean, so he had that angle. And so he's becoming one of those, one of the best wide receivers. I know what your thoughts are on that, Trev.
Yeah, he looks super good. I mean, it's 4 games, 8 touchdowns. Like, let's just give him some credit, right? He looks really good. And my biggest pushback is what would have his stats been if he was healthy? Now, that's the rookie conversation that's really difficult because a lot of guys like Breece Hall could be in the conversation for offensive rookie of the year if he was healthy all year, right? Where Dameon Pierce is now in the conversation just because he's played all year, even though he's had 2 horrific games. So I think Watson, his speed is so impressive that it's just the league's going, whoa, wait a minute here. And so as his route running gets better, as his chemistry gets better, I think that's exciting. What I get excited about is, has Dobbs and Watson played at the same time this season? You know what I mean? Nope. So that's why, when Vikings fans, in my opinion, Jefferson and Thielen together, that's dangerous. Now you added Hawkinson. That's exciting when that happens. You guys are so excited about that. It's fun to watch, right? That's why Lions fans are getting excited about St. Brown, and then you're hoping that Jameis just is who he said that he is. Because now if you look back at the draft just for 1 second, which wide receivers would you pick? Right? All those guys, Drake London, we're talking the big names, Burks, all these guys, right? And it's probably going to be Williams, right? And Watson and
Garrett Wilson,
Olave. That's what it is.
Garrett
Wilson's a stud.
Yeah, he is, but he's not it's not consistently because he's that rookie thing in there. So it's probably quarterback, right? So he it's going to be interesting. But is the quarterback situation going to change in the Jets? No,
they're not.
Right?
Not rocking with that.
So what I'm saying is, when we redrafted, I think Watson goes way higher. He's first rounder now.
So shout out Nick. You also brought up Sterling Sharp as one of the best wide receivers in Packers history. I do remember him as well. So he's definitely there.
Definitely.
Well, he was awesome.
So one last thing I wanted to bring up. Oh, sorry. Did 7 letter? Do you want to say?
Nah, Sterling Sharp killed me at the tender age of 13. Oh my God.
Wayne Fonts.
Why the fuck open?
So one last question I want to ask, kind of on this topic then, and this has kind of been evolving from the off season to now. Who has the best wide receivers in the NFC North? I'm going to go ahead and start up with you, Dave.
I mean, come on. We know it's the Vikings, and it's only Jefferson. By the way, Thielen is done. This is why, honestly, I wanted Jameson Williams in the draft, and we traded down. I was pissed. And then I wanted Watson, and we traded down again. The fucking Packers got him. So I was so disappointed. And then we drafted 2 guys that not even that good right now. They've been hurt. But it's still Jefferson. He's literally the best receiver in the league. So I don't care who else you put next to him. You can put a dead corpse next to him. I'll take those guys over him.
He did get shut down. So Shelby, I mean, you still on the Vikings have the best wide receiving core?
Yeah, I am. And I mean, is Thielen a little washed? Yeah, but he still does make really good plays. He's the best on the sideline catches. And I think that we should start utilizing Rager too, because we haven't even really talked about him, but the plays he has made are big plays. So if you bring him in as well now, start utilizing him. Jefferson counts for at least 2 guys, though.
Seventh letter, what are your thoughts?
The best wide receiving corps in the NFC North is probably. I would probably have to go with the Vikings, but we're second.
Ooh.
We're second. Only because Thielen's still effective. He bust our ass. So he always was kind of like, I don't know. They never really doubled him. He always gets the second corner and he just goes crazy. So I got to give it. He's still effective. And Osgood, I like Osgood. I'm
Osborne.
This year, not so much. But before, what's his name?
Osborne.
KJ Osborne.
Yeah, fuck him. But
he's so good. You call him Osgood now.
I know, right?
He's good.
That's how good he is. Osgood.
It's not bad.
He's good. But I like us. I like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I like Chark. Well, on paper, and Jameson Williams. Hopefully he'll materialize. And I like Josh. I like Reynolds.
Reynolds, good play.
Pretty good. You know, I like our receiving core. I like him a lot.
Nick, where are you at on the best in the division?
It's Minnesota and then it's Detroit. And it's Detroit based on second because it's not just potential of Williams. It's because Amon-Ra St. Brown's like really good. So,
he's really good.
Yes. He's Keenan Allen. You want to think of the guy coming up, Jackson Smith-Njigba, the same type of guy that just understands how to get the most out of his athletic ability, even if it's not the same level as everyone else, and how to run routes, which is again changing speeds, tempos, attacking leverage, things like that. I think the bigger question is who, and again, I mean, this is injuries aside, whatever, who has better receivers between Green Bay or Chicago?
Oh yeah, and I was all in on the Bears ahead of the season, but Mooney has really disappointed. Claypool has also disappointed. It'll be interesting to see kind of what happens in the offseason. But Bernard, what are your thoughts on this?
I'm trying not to be super biased. I want to say Green Bay, but you know what? I'm going to say Green Bay. With Dobbs and Watson, if they can come back and if the 2 are on the field at the same time, but then we still got Cobb, Allen, Lazard, Somali Toure, who's pretty good, and if those 2 are on the field all at the same time, and whoever is a quarterback, I would say they would have the best wide receiving core.
Watson's scaring me, and Dobbs. I mean, that could be an interesting combo as well. I mean, are you kind of Trevor? You on that as well?
Like, I thought the conversation switched here to like Bears Packers. So are we back to the whole thing? Because if we're back to the whole thing, I'm going Vikings, I'm going Lions, I'm going Packers, and I'm going Bears. And what I love about this conversation is I told everyone when it came to the Claypool thing that I would give the maximum of a 3rd rounder, and the fan base freaked out when you guys got him. Nobody's talking about that anymore, right? He should be making the Bears better. And I'm not sure how he is. So I think that the Green Bay. Okay, this is what gets me excited. We were so worried about the wide receivers. Now there's hope. We didn't have hope coming into the season. I was going to watch Sammy Watkins, guys. Like, think about that. You guys are talking about JJ and St. Brown. We're talking about Lazard is a great blocker and a very good possession guy, and he's got some plays, right? But that he's not in the conversation with these guys that you guys are talking about, right? So when now we're talking about Dobbs and Watson, like, brother, I know we're Packers fans, but you can't say that we're the best.
Yeah.
And then, like, let's be honest, right? Like, we got to be real here. But we might have potential that we could be up there. I just think the Vikings just way too good. And the Lions are really, like, they can score at will, it seems like the Lions can now. So that's why I'm giving them the heads above us at this stage.
And I hate to kind of look at the Packers and Bears, look at the wide receivers and say it, because I was all in on Mooney. I mean, obviously everybody looks good at training camp, right? But I thought he kind of had what it took to kind of at least be a good number 2. I still think Claypool, once he gets acclimated to the offense and has training camp, I think he's going to be better than maybe he's showing this year. I mean, are you kind of seeing that a little bit, Nick?
I mean, to me, it comes down to floor and ceiling. I mean, if you think Christian Watson's going to score 2 touchdowns every game for the rest of his career, then fuck yeah, he's the best ever. Like, but it's not going to happen, but I agree. I mean, he's an elite athlete. I think he's got work to do, and we haven't seen the drops that haunted him in training camp and that first game. But Mooney's already caught 1,000 yards in the season. With I think 3 quarterbacks starting last year, whatever it was, and Claypool's had 860 in his first 2 years, each of his first 2 years. So like, we're talking about 2 guys that are like established, and like next year with Fields, like that's, like you can see that. I know they're banged up and he just got traded, but that's like the worst set of circumstances. It'd be interesting to see what Minnesota does opposite Jefferson. We talked about Hawkinson. It's be interesting. I mean, Chark's a free agent, so it'll be interesting to see what Detroit does. With J-Mo and Amon-Ra and seeing if they get that third and grow. But it's not like the division doesn't have hope. That's kind of what you were saying. You got Watson, Chicago. I mean, that was the thing. Like, Chicago has no one around Fields. Like, now all of a sudden you're starting to get all these pieces around some of these guys. So we might have some high-scoring offenses next year, honestly.
I like the Bears receivers. I don't hate it. Like, you talk about Mooney, and, I think he can be a number 2. Like he said, he's already had a 1,000-yard season. Claypool is a solid player. He's not a bum. What Chicago needs is a true number 1. Like, that's what they need, because I think Mooney can be a solid number 2. Claypool can even be the number 2. So you got, if you can get a number 1 guy in there, you got 3 guys that can make plays. Like, that's, and like Claypool's not going to come in and blow the top off, like he said, because he's dealing with a quarterback who's still learning. He's getting better, and you're in a new offense. So that's, how many guys get traded in the middle of the season and go off? It doesn't happen very often, So I think Chicago's not in a bad shape. They get one more really, really good player, receiver there. I think that could just, explode their offense. So I hope they don't do it.
And that's kind of why, I think, Nick, I'm on the same page with you as far as like the Bears losing and getting a higher draft pick, because it's in Kansas City this year and it's within a drive. So I think I might be there, especially if it's at number 2 overall pick. And I don't know if they go wide receiver that high.
They'll trade down.
Truthfully, I hope they would trade down, right? Because there's
somebody
so
will
many
get a QB.
pieces. But that would open it up, for us to fill some hole.
Well, one of the interesting things too is, I think he froze there, is people talk about giving up the early second for Claypool. That's the other part of it. You were saying a third, and people are saying how dumb it is. Well, the free agent class,
you could probably get a top end wide receiver a little bit.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, am I back?
Yeah, you froze there for a minute.
Did I freeze there? Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I was talking, but go ahead if you want to.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was saying people are kind of clowning the Bears for the early second on Claypool, but the free agent wide receiver class is like really bad, because all those guys re-signed for big money. And then the wide receiver class in the draft is not as ideal as people thought it was going to be. And plus, Kayshon Boutte is going back to LSU. He was one of them. So you only have about 4 guys. They're probably going to be like teens to late first, and they're probably all going to go before that pick. So I think like things are dwindling, and people are realizing how valuable these receivers are, like Justin Jefferson. Like if you don't have one of those guys, you're seeing what's happening to Justin Herbert. Like, the production is just going down, and like, or your quarterback has to like run forever. Like, look at what the Eagles are doing. I mean, I Jalen Hurts has gotten better. Like, don't get me wrong, but he has the best offensive line in the NFL, and he's got
weapons everywhere.
AJ Brown's top 5, and I would say Devontae Smith is like a top 15 receiver. He's really good. Like, and then you've got it like, wow, look how good a quarterback can look when you have all these guys around him. And then when you don't have it, it just goes down. So I think people are really valuing receivers and weapons right now, and it's a big deal. So I if they don't trade down, I don't think they're going to get another guy.
Well, it's been a lot of fun. Where can everyone find? We'll just go around. We'll start with you, Dave, and just kind of go around here.
At Viking Dave 18, that's me on Twitter. I do the fantasy football show too, but that's on hiatus right now. So just come blow up my Twitter after we beat the Lions on Sunday.
Shelby, where can everyone find you?
Shelby Tweten, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Aries Archive is my clothing. I'll see you guys in Detroit.
Are you going?
Yes. Are you?
That's awesome. No,
Seventh
I wish.
letter.
That's
Are you
amazing.
with us? Let's see if seventh letters can.
My phone,
all right.
my battery was dying, but you can find me seventh letter 404 on Twitter, seventh letter on same OG on Instagram, Las Vegas to Detroit sports radio show on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. It was a lot of fun tonight, guys.
I'm gonna get my popcorn ready for the tweets between you guys this weekend.
It's gonna be crazy.
I'm gonna be ruthless on Sunday.
Oh, I'm blocking him already if it comes.
Oh,
if it
come on, it's fun, Dave. Come on.
What, you think you're gonna lose, Dave?
That's the mute button. No, I'm saying if it happens, that's the mute button coming out.
Hey, Dave, don't act like Packer fans.
Oh.
Wow.
The Packer
Shots
fans are the
fired.
softest. We already know that.
What? You guys have been complaining. Vikings Twitter's the worst.
Oh,
it
it is.
Packers Twitter.
I'm not gonna lie.
I got in between Packers fans on Sunday after the game. It was crazy. Packer fans. There was one that was all in on Aaron Rodgers, and all Packer fans were all. It was against him. It was crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
Cool.
I'm
But,
not saying we're all normal. I'm not saying we're normal. Okay.
Where can everyone find you, Trev?
Yeah, Rev Trev K on Twitter and Kempner Sports on YouTube. Love for you to stop by.
And Bernard, thanks for joining us. Where can everyone find you?
Thanks. Well, I don't have a Twitter and I don't have a Facebook, but you can. I am in a group called the Pack Stack. It's with all 7 members. We talk about Packers all day. You can catch us on we on StreamYard on Saturday nights, so you can come and catch us and talk and watch us talk about Packers and yeah.
I might have to come join, and I'll bring my friend Nick. Nick, where can everyone find you?
Yeah.
Well, listen. I mean, I live in Wisconsin as well, and I've been listening to sports talk radio here all year because it's been the most entertaining thing ever.
Oh, I bet that's good stuff.
Just fire LaFleur, fire, give it around.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, sorry. At _Nick Whalen. That's Twitter and Instagram. And my content is at Football Guys. I just released a Bilo article for 2023 before those fantasy football deadlines.
Great stuff. And NFL Updated. Once again, this Freezin 4 NFC North Podcast, episode 41. We'll catch everyone next week. Yeah, go ahead, Bernard.
Hold on. I just want to, I just want to, I like to troll people sometimes. I just want to troll this lady up here. Be nice to your daddy. Be nice to Mr. Rogers. Miss. I've been checking you. Be nice. All right.
Okay.
Hey, that's all right. The Vikings do have the trophy this year, so it's all good fun. Thanks again, everybody. We'll catch you next week.
All right.
Skol!
That's right. Let's go.